What's going on, everybody? We got our second game preview here. We got the Texans versus the Seahawks again. It's going to be played in Seattle. This is a very tough game for a Houston Texans team, sitting at 3-3, kind of in the thick of things in the AFC South. That AFC South looks like the Jaguars look like the best team in that division. Titans look inconsistent. Colts don't got luck, and the Texans look like the better offensive team of all of those teams. They're losing Watt. They lost Marcellus, I think, for the whole year. But yeah. And then we got the Seahawks on the flip side, who are 4-2. They hold a tiebreaker advantage over the Rams right now because of their head-to-head record. But, you know, they still have their problems. Last week they got a win against the Giants. The Texans were on a bye. So this is a pretty huge matchup for both teams, especially because the Seahawks they still want to look like a formidable NFC West team. The Rams look like the new up-and-coming team in that division. For the Texans, it's a big game because they want to stay above 500. You want to stay even with the Titans and the Jags. So this is a huge game for both teams here. Now, some of our key matchups here is going to include looking at Deshaun Watson versus that Seattle defense. Deshaun Watson has, I think, in the last 2 games he played, he's thrown 10 touchdowns, or he's had 10 total touchdowns. He's been fantastic. The Texans really, I think they found their franchise quarterback. They just need some better defensive help, especially since they lost J.J. Watt and Whitney Marcellus. But they're very opportunistic with their turnovers. They're able to get things done here. So Deshaun Watson versus that Seattle defense is a key matchup here, because that Seattle defense is still that Seattle defense. They're not the same Seattle defense that went to 2 Super Bowls and won one of them. But they're still a good defense. That pass rush can get after you. That linebacking corps is really good. And that secondary is still top-notch with Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, and Richard Sherman. I'm pretty sure Richard Sherman is going to follow DeAndre Hopkins around. So it's going to be up to Deshaun Watson to either test Richard Sherman with DeAndre Hopkins or find other options in the passing game. Will Fuller, Braxton Miller, Lamar Miller underneath, guys like that. Our second key matchup here is going to be the Texans defense. Their pressure game versus that Seahawks offensive line. The Seahawks offensive line played really well against the Giants. I think they only allowed 1 sack in that game. So it's going to come down to, if they're able to get pressure on Russell Wilson, have him running for his life, that type of stuff. Because in those type of games, Seattle normally plays ugly. And when they play ugly, they sometimes win ugly, like 16-10, 12-6, things like that. That's the kind of game that Seattle wants to play, though. It's like a slugfest where it's a heavyweight defense versus a heavyweight offense. And most of the time, their defense prevails. So look for that. And our third and final key matchup here is going to be... let's just go with the Texan running game here. The Texans have changed up their offensive scheme to fit Deshaun Watson's skill set. They use more designed quarterback runs. Lamar Miller has run the ball pretty well. It's about getting him 15 to 20 touches. Deontay Foreman has been a good change of pace guy. But that Seahawks rush defense is still very vaunted. Still one of the best in the game. Holding teams below 3 yards a carry, 4 yards a carry. Obviously keeping them down in distance. But it's going to come up to this defense, making a rookie quarterback play like a rookie quarterback here. So that's something we have to look at here. Let's jump into 3 reasons why each team will win this game. For the Texans, it's Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson is able to play turnover-free, keep his offense ahead of the chains, things like that, they have a great chance to win this game. Deshaun Watson is a very skilled quarterback. I think he's going to be a great quarterback over the next 10 years at least. He only uses his legs when he needs to. He's not, forcing things, and he's not afraid to throw the ball down the field. So that's something that you like out of your rookie quarterback. Number 2, that Texans defense is able to get pressure on Russell Wilson, making this offensive line look how bad that they've looked through the first 7 weeks of this year. The Texans can get 3 or 4 sacks in this game, force a turnover or 2, I think they'll win this game. with ball control, you can beat Seattle. If your offense can have the ball for over 32 minutes a game, I think they'll win this game. If you're able to get turnovers on Russell Wilson, who doesn't really turn the ball over a lot, he's a very smart quarterback, you have a chance to win this game. And our third and final reason is I think Lamar Miller is going to have a big game in this game. It includes pass catching, running between the tackles. This is going to be a tough game for him, especially against his defense. But I feel like if he's able to have 85 rushing yards and probably like 30 to 40 receiving yards, I think that the Texans can sneak out of here with the victory on the road. Lamar Miller is a very underrated back in my opinion, so I think that if he's able to have a very efficient day, stay at like 4 to 5 yards a touch, I think they have a good chance to win this game, get him involved, things like that. Now for the Seahawks, 3 reasons why they'll win this game. They make Deshaun Watson look like a rookie quarterback. I know Dwayne Brown just ended his holdout with the Texans, so they're getting their left tackle back, but still the Seahawks front 7 is very talented. The back 4 is great too, so if they're able to, get in Deshaun Watson's face, hit him a couple times, force some bad errant throws, they'll easily win this game. Number 2, that offensive line protects Russell Wilson. Like, only 1 or 2 sacks allowed. Give him enough time to operate the offense. They have some sort of a running game with Thomas Rawls, Eddie Lacy. So, things like that the Seahawks offensive line needs to do. They need to open up those holes, give Russell Wilson time to find his playmakers and Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett, Paul Richardson, Jimmy Graham. I know Jimmy Graham had a couple of drops last week, but, it's a new week. Get back to it. And the third reason why the Seahawks will win this game is that 12th man, I guess you can say. It's always hard to play in Seattle. If you can come right out and score on the first possession, you kind of quiet it down a little bit. I think that crowd is going to give Seattle a huge advantage, especially with a rookie quarterback. The situation might be bigger than how he's feeling. So I think that this gives Seattle an advantage here with that crowd. And my prediction for this game, this is an upset special. Texans win this game. Texans win 24-13. Why? I think Deshaun Watson shuts everything out. I think Lamar Miller has a semi-big game, averaging 4 to 5 yards a touch. I think that they go at Richard Sherman with DeAndre Hopkins. I feel like he has no fear. I just feel like Deshaun Watson, I don't know. I really like Deshaun Watson personally as a quarterback. I like that he beat Alabama in the national championship game. I like that he has some sort of swagger, being this quarterback for the Houston Texans right now. He's making some of these other teams pay for not picking him in the draft. I like that. I just feel like Seattle is, as good of a team as Seattle is, I feel like they still have a lot of flaws. But this is an upset special for me this week. I like the Texans 24-13 to get this victory. It's not that I don't like Seattle. I like Seattle as a team. I just feel like there's too many problems in their offensive line. I know that they played well last week against the Giants, and the Giants are a bad team right now. But I like the Texans in this game because of Deshaun Watson and how electric that offense is right now. That's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'm out. Peace.